Hi, I'm Chris, and I'd like to share with you my DIY teleprompter. Griffin over at IndyMugul shared his design for a homemade teleprompter, which you can see right here. Thanks, Griffin. I started to copy his design, but had some ideas along the way that resulted in what you see here. When I first started making videos, I would try to loosely memorize my scripts. Now, not having a lot of time to memorize everything, I would always end up flubbing lines repeatedly, which would cost me a lot of time in the edit stage. So I began to tape sheets of paper with parts of the script to the front of the camera. The trouble with this is that I could only get parts of the script on each page due to having to make the font large enough to read at a distance. This would create a lot of takes and also would result in longer edit times. I received an iPad as a gift, so I built a bracket that would hold the iPad behind the camera. This worked pretty well when I used a smaller camera, but when it dawned on me that my DSLR was a better camera for what I was trying to do, it didn't work as well since the body of the camera blocked a major portion of the iPad screen. So I was trying to find a solution that would work with both the camera and the iPad. One day at work, I happened to lay my iPad next to the window. Seeing the reflection in the glass made me think about the possibility of some sort of teleprompter. I initially thought about building something like what the president uses and then just shoot through the glass. I saw some issues with that idea and decided to search YouTube for a possible solution. Griffin had just uploaded the DIY build at IndyMugul, and I decided that I would do the same. I started with the same basic concept of taking an 8x10 picture frame as a reflection surface. I cut a piece of wood roughly the same size as the picture frame. When I got to the point of attaching the picture frame to the board, I decided to use some of the leftover scrap wood from making the base to make sides to attach the frame to the base. You want the picture frame at a 45-degree angle, and one way to do this is to use one of those level apps available with the iPhone. If you use Griffin's design of using the dowel rods, you could use the app to find your 45-degree angle. I used a carpenter's speed square to mark the cuts, so nailing that 45-degree angle was a little easier. While playing around with the partially built box, I realized that the area behind the glass needed to be as dark as possible, so I decided to close in the back. This meant using more of the scrap wood. I didn't have this in mind when I started, or I might have just built a box and put the picture frame in afterward at a 45-degree angle. I closed off the back with a piece of 39-cent felt and cut a hole in it for the lens to go through. I painted the entire thing in a flat black just to give it that finished look. Like Griffin's design, I installed a 1/4-inch screw insert to be able to mount it to my tripod. Now, all of this wood does make my design a little heavier and bulkier, so I put this little carrying handle on top to make getting it on the tripod a little easier. Now, one issue I have with using my Nikon D90 is that I cannot see myself in the preview window when I'm in front of the camera. It takes a lot of time to frame things up and get everything in focus. So while building my teleprompter, this was one of my design considerations. I wanted to figure out a way to address this issue. I looked at buying a monitor that would just, hang on the side of the thing, but it just wasn't in the budget. So I went to a local car parts place and found these 2 rear view replacement mirrors and built this little bracket out of some aluminum pieces I picked up at Lowe's. I hinged the aluminum arm so I can move it out of the way while setting up and then fold it over when shooting. So what started out as a teleprompter became an all-in-one vlogging device. Now, while my costs went a little over $65 for the entire project, I have a full-service device that should hold up for years to come. I hope you enjoyed my little DIY teleprompter project. I'm sorry I didn't make any cool video while I was building it, but at the time I didn't see the point. If you would like some better close-up pictures and videos, click here. If you would like to see some of the videos that I produced with this device, click here, or here, or here. Thanks for watching, and good luck if you're building your own teleprompter. And thanks again, Griffin. Awesome stuff.